Welcome to the High Rocks area of the Clackamas River. Henry, great to see ya. Thanks for the inspiration to get out here with the bum knee and the test gimbal. I came to a place called High Rocks. This is a place where so many kids come to swim. The town actually pays for a full-time lifeguard, but lots of kids come to cool off, especially during this start of a 5-day heat wave. Otherwise, you've inspired me to get a gimbal for stability and get out here and figure it out. Still quite challenging, but nothing like experience to get good at this thing. Gosh, it sure is great to see you too. And thanks for forgiving me being such a novice. Otherwise, this town is called Gladstone, or as we nicknamed it, Happy Rock. And here in Gladstone, the Clackamas River runs through to where it meets the Willamette down at the end. They call this area Willamette Valley because of the Willamette River. Gosh, great to see you, Princess Margaret, out here testing my gimbal at a place called High Rocks in Gladstone, Oregon, the neighboring city to Oregon City. Used to come here as a kid and jump off of the high rocks. Further up the Clackamas River, there's quite a bit of whitewater. We've got everything from great blue herons to this turkey vulture that's flying over right now, and nothing like these evergreen trees along the river to go rafting. After living 2 years in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, I came back to my hometown here, went rafting down the river. My friends are like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's not green year-round everywhere." And they're still like, yeah, this is boring. So I told them, well, nothing like having all of this taken away from you to never take it for granted again, that's for sure. So I thought for sure my bum knee was going to keep me from getting out here and walking around at all, but it ends up I need the exercise. Otherwise, used to walk 1.5 miles to the bus stop each way on my commute to work each day until 1 year ago, when I was blessed with a layoff after 41 years, 9 months to take this large severance package, and still have enough money to support a family of 3 for the same medical and dental that we used to have. And that's what kept me from ever pulling the trigger to retirement. Of course, YouTube saved me from claustrophobia and going batshit crazy. After shut down, our building that fits 300 per floor had maybe 25 per floor. So you guys have been my outside world. Keep me sane till I get out here myself. Otherwise, appreciating the exercise, the practice on the gimbal. I'm quite the klutz, so anything that creates stability is good for me. Yes, so this bridge that I'm underneath right now, it's called High Rocks Bridge, and they finally put up barriers so that you cannot jump off of it. But as kids, of course, we did. So one day I decided to jump off from the middle. Since I could see the bottom, I decided I'd swim all the way to the other side before coming out. Of course, the folks that were up on the bridge including an officer, were searching for me down below when I realized what was happening and started screaming at him from that bank that, hey, I'm over here. Gosh, great to see you enjoy Nantucket. This is nothing like Nantucket, that's for sure. But hey, this is the Great Northwest, 20 miles south of Portland, in beautiful, on this side of the river is Gladstone, on that side of the river is Oregon City, or as I tell folks from abroad, Oregon City. Welcome to Oregon City. And you know, if they don't pronounce it Oregon, they're not from around here. Otherwise, to be surrounded by lakes and rivers, mountains, fresh air, Dougie Doug, good to see you, my friend. Just showing off high rocks here in Gladstone, or as we've nicknamed it, Happy Rock, and the High Rocks Bridge. Practicing on my gimbal. Aha! There's the issue. Practicing on my gimbal. That's the High Rocks Bridge. This is the Clackamas River. Great for rafting down. This is a calm part. Further up is some really fun white water. And then a little bit further in the direction I'm going, it meets the Willamette River. You have a good day too. Oh yeah. And it meets the Willamette River at a park called Clackamas Park. It was great when Robert West Coast Walker came through town, to hear him butcher all of the local names, like the Willamette River is the Willamette. One of the viewers corrected him real quick, and it was neat to hear him say these Indian named rivers the right way. Otherwise, Clackamas meets up with the Willamette River, and this area, as I was saying, is called the Willamette Valley. And nothing but evergreens and fresh air and nice people and not overpopulation. I always thought when people from overpopulated areas learned how beautiful it was here, they'd all move here. But thankfully, people stick with their roots, especially if they're used to the hustle and bustle of a big city. Bored to tears here in Northwest Oregon, where Starbucks isn't open at 3 a.m. But the rain keeps the tourists out. Ends up we really don't get as much rain as we say, but keeps us from inviting too many of the sun-seeking tourists. So I swung from a rope swing off of that High Rocks Bridge at the age of 16. Fell on a rock, sliced my right leg open. Didn't know it until I tried to swim, and could only swim with one leg. But 7 stitches later, I was back at it with a souvenir to show off and brag to the grandkids. Use all these scars to give the kids advice of what not to do. Yes, this is a really nice place, Dougie Doug. With it, the town pays for a lifeguard to keep an eye on all the kids up there by High Rocks, as there is at least one really high rock that everybody wants to jump off of. It used to be they tie a rope to this tree here and do a boogie board out in the white water. until the town realized how dangerous that was and cut the rope. Yep, been through a lot, Dougie Doug. Been around enough to know that this is the place I want to live the rest of my life. Moved on average of every 2 years, having gone to 12 different schools before graduating from high school. As a kid, it was really easy because it was easy to make new friends and you didn't have to finish homework. But boy, at about the age of 15, to get transplanted from Milwaukee, Oregon, 97222 to Fair Lawn, New Jersey, 07410. It was quite the culture shock. In fact, there was a TV show called James at 15 who moved from Portland, Oregon to Boston, Maine, and I thought, hey, that movie is me. But it gave me the inspiration to apply for and find 2 jobs at Baskin Robbins and a Jewish catering service to make enough money to fly across the United States 3 times. And at the age of 17, I rode my older brother's coattails, who was coming here to college, and got to live with best friends until, by some miracle, my dad got a transfer back 7 months later. Yes, the water is very inviting. Thank you for joining me, Henry, as well. Thanks for letting me practice on, gosh, the best of the best, you guys. So thanks for your extreme forgiveness at my gimbal fumbling and such. But it was Alex Fouquet Walk who said, you got to get out there for a lot longer. But it was Henry, TTC Explorer, Transit Explorer, who inspired me almost a year ago when he had asked. And I said, yes, I would love to get out there and do some walk tubing, especially once I retire. 1 week into retirement, I blow out my knee. But thanks to the collective inspiration from everybody, it got me out here to High Rocks Park today. And today starts a 5-day heat wave. So today is probably the only actual enjoyable day with a breeze, possibly a high of 90. But tomorrow it hits 100. All right, in the pathway back. Here in Gladstone, we have the Department of Motor Vehicles. So most of us from this area came here to take our driver's tests as kids. I failed mine because I couldn't drive backwards. So I went home, got in my little Honda Civic, drove the entire neighborhood until I became an expert, and went back and aced the test. Otherwise, here in Oregon, you could get your license at 16 at the time. However, we had moved to Fair Lawn, and 17 was the driving age there. So, came back before ever getting a driver's license. Thanks so much, Princess Margaret. I'm always glad when I catch you and the inspiring things you do and the charities you support and such. Dougie Doug, I thank you for the integrity of what it takes to be a channel operator and let other channel operators run the channel the way they want to. Thanks for letting me show off the great Northwest of Gladstone, Oregon in this instance, Princess Margaret. Thank you so much for this great vote of confidence, Princess Margaret. I really appreciate that. Yes, indeed, Princess Margaret. Well said. Collectively, we've got this thing. Just a beautiful husky dog back there. So here's how you get onto the High Rocks Bridge. Of course, they've got it set up so that cars can't cross. And they've put up cyclone fencing with an angle so that people can't jump off of it, even though it's really not that high of a bridge. Very shallow water down below. Couldn't tell already, I'm taking this gimbal for a test drive. Thanks, Princess Margaret. Cyclone fence has my gimbal confused. Looking west towards the Willamette River. Here's up east with I-205 there in the distance. Yeah, towards I-205 up there. Folks come rafting down from up above where there's lots of white water, and cruise on through to Clackamas Park behind me, where they usually have another vehicle parked, and sometimes do the ride all over again. Otherwise, it is that rock there, let's see, that gives this park its name, High Rocks. Alrighty then. I'm sure the gimbal is focusing on the cyclone fence, but you can see the folks gathering at the top of the rock there, and usually just jumping off feet first. Well, this gimbal has a joystick as well. However, intuitively, you would think you pull down to go up, but you push up to go up. There you go. Okay, well, I'm going to make all those other professional YouTubers feel really good about their skills. But hey, that looks like about the closest zoom to what attracts all the kids from all over. And usually the lifeguard is sitting right there, watching the whole place. All right, let's see if we can do a successful zoom back. Oh, I guess that was zoomed in quite a ways. Hey Juanita, great to see you. Standing on High Rocks Bridge looking out at the Clackamas River in a town called Gladstone that we nickname Happy Rock. Some really good coffee come from here, a little shop called Happy Rock Coffee. And Juanita, as you can tell, I'm practicing with gimbal for the very first time, as I'd only ever held the phone in my hand before. Never knew of such a thing as stability and that it can be done through both hardware and software. Kind of nice. Jazz, great to see you. See if I can do this triple click. Triple click. Jazz, everybody. So surprised. Henry, my first to come on and critique me and my new walktuber skills at the age of 60, having retired a year ago. Got myself a nice cheap gimbal, and that was my first spin around, Jazz. Okay, here we go. Find that trigger again. Welcome to Gladstone. Beautiful husky.
Oh, thanks. She's a little crazy, but she's all right.
Love her. Husky is my last name.
Oh, is it? Cool.
Yeah. Mom's last name is Doolittle, so
Oh, wow.
I tell everybody that's why animals love me so much.
Sure.
That, and they have good intuition. Oh, good eyes.
She's overly excited about every dog on her home.
She is gorgeous. Modano, good to see you. Hey, this is Gladstone, Oregon, right next to Oregon City. Across the river here is Oregon City. Here in Gladstone, we call it Happy Rock. Of course, used to live in each of these little towns. As a kid, having moved on average of every 2 years. Thankfully, most of it was around here. Lived my first 6 years in Reseda, California, before Mom and Dad moved to Southern Oregon. Funny enough, at the age of 6, we moved to a hippie commune, and I went to a private school. Before, at the age of 7, we left for 100 Mile House, BC, Canada, where during the summertime I learned how to read at a restaurant called the Red Coach Inn. The waitress would teach me to read on her lunch breaks. So those are my bragging rights as far as Canada goes. But after that, we returned a total of 6 trips. I think one of the funnest was we took 5 cars, 10 guys to Vancouver, Canada. And interestingly, as far as police and everything go, we felt more free there than here, as we were asked about why we were hanging out in front of a bank. And when the officer understood where we wanted to go, he said, "Follow me," even though we were all piled into the back of a pickup truck. Anyhow, great experiences up in Canada. Always tell people that I feel more free up there than down here. And of course, everyone who's like-minded like me would really love to move there for the next 3.5 years and then come back. So this park is in memory of Harvey E. Cross, who donated this park, dedicated June 5th, 1937, and now known as Cross Park. Not too far up the way is Willamette Park. I should say Clackamas Park, where Clackamas meets the Willamette. Lots of boats and ducks, and usually where everybody ends their inner tube and rafting ride. So although the air is really fresh and this water is very clean towards Portland on the Willamette, there is an algae plume warning, so no swimming, or anything like that. But it never used to be that way. In fact, used to be able to see the salmon runs where they were just back-to-back salmon heading up the river, and only recently have they removed enough barriers to get some salmon spawning to come back in areas they haven't been to in some time. Although I haven't recently gotten out into the nature often, you guys have collectively inspired me to get out here with the plan of doing this regularly. I have been idle for about a year. Prior to that, I was walking at least 3 miles on the commute to and from work. So, of course, it shouldn't take anything more than this picturesque beauty and the fresh air to be inspired to get out here. But right now, it's my health. That being, the more weight I lose, the less pain on my right knee. Yeah. When we watched Henry there in Victoria, BC, and nature, it just really made me realize, hey, this is my back door. And although sad that he might move from Toronto to Vancouver, then that might just open up the door for me to snipe him one day. But yeah, it is quite nice and quite healthy. I'm gonna see here if I can figure out how to first turn this thing around. It's a triple click. There we go. Dougie Doug, Henry, Juanita, Modano, Princess Margaret, everybody, thank you for inspiring me, first in chat, now in live. I really appreciate all of you helping me, and Dougie Doug, thank you for always having your head screwed on right and your feet on the ground when it comes to thinking about best ways to approach questions when it comes to other people's channels. Let them run it the way they would like to. All right. Well, signing off, and thanks again for being with me on this practice. Cheers, Modano. Thanks for all the great help you've given to Alex Fouquet Walk. Told me how you've given him his jump start. Princess Margaret, keep inspiring us. Henry, thanks for making me feel so spoiled that I got the undivided attention from one of my beautiful friends. Yes. You guys rock. Thanks for joining me here in the Willamette Valley. Have a wonderful day, you too. All of my amazing friends.